Next up on the call is Grambling State interim head coach George Ragsdale. Grambling State suffered a loss at Alabama State this past weekend, and this week they will host Lamar. Coach Ragsdale, are you with us?
Yes, I am. How you doing today?
Doing well, Coach. Good morning. If you will, talk about last week and preview Lamar this coming Saturday.
Okay, well, last week, of course, we had Alabama State. And Alabama State has a good organization, to say the least, man. But we put together a plan that we thought we could neutralize some of the powers that they have and take advantage of them. And we went out and started the game off. We had the ball first and moved it pretty well on them, and got a chance to score. Actually went up. No, they went up on us, but both of us scored in the first quarter. Okay, and we didn't maintain possession like I thought we should have. Of course, they put 8 in the box, 7 in the box on us because the week before, the previous week, we ran the ball pretty well. And our receivers, we didn't start off fast like I always ask them to do. I have a little saying where we start fast, finish strong. But again, we started off slow, and they went up on us 21 to 7. And at halftime, though, we went back in at halftime and tried to regroup our guys. I let them know, hey, we got 30 minutes of football to play. Just because we was down 21 to 7, things, we could still get into the game. And we came out of the locker room. The guys were adding a little momentum again and scored 14 quick points, man. And we cut the thing down to 21-28. And at that time, we had pretty good momentum. But we lost the momentum on a punt return. Our defense went out and stopped them, because they had the ball at the beginning of the second half. Defense went out and stopped them. He got it back to on the punt return. We got a good punt return from McGee, who I thought, again, we had the momentum. We go down here and we score and tie this thing up. It ain't no telling what could happen because I watched the game the week before with Monty and those guys, how they were down, but Alabama State got a little bit full of themselves, and, Monty and them made a great run at them. And we were starting to do the same thing. So I know Coach, he probably got a little concerned on the other sideline, and he got the guys to rally a little bit. And once we had that penalty that took away that good punt return, we kind of lost our momentum, and then the game just really got lopsided then. We didn't get a chance to score again, and obviously we didn't play very good on defense, and they went up to that 52-21 lead. Lamar this week, we had to be ready for Lamar because Lamar has some good players, okay, and we got to put together a plan that's going to kind of take away the running back Harrington, because he has 50 attempts and 300 and some yards. He's already scored 3 touchdowns to this point. And the Cobble is a pretty good passer because he's got a 60.7% passing ratio, and the kid in 4 games has only thrown 1 interception. So we're going to have to be on our P's and Q's and going to have to play much better defense. We're going to have to try to get some pressure on him some way. Hopefully we don't have to do a whole lot of blitzing because, once you start blitzing, you open up the gates for the guy break through that front wall. It's big yards on the other side. So, we here this morning. We're going to put in the time to find out what we need to do to get ourselves rolling. Because once again, we are 4-0. But we're 2-0 in the conference, and if I'm not mistaken, everyone has lost a game in the conference. So we still could be in the thick of things. We just got to start winning, and that's about it.
All right, the floor is open to take questions now with George Ragsdale, interim head coach at Grambling State University.
Hey, Coach Ragsdale, how you doing? This is Charles Edmond from WPRL.
Oh, doing good. How you doing, Charles?
I'm doing pretty good. Coach, you just saw Alabama State just played them. Talk about Crowell and what type of challenge that he poses, the type of running back he is.
Crowell is a good running back, but it wasn't Crowell so much a Crowell. You know, the little kid, 22, what's his name?
Cyrus?
Who?
Malcolm Cyrus?
Malcolm Cyrus.
Yeah.
Cyrus is the one who did the damage. Now, of course, Crowell, you know, he's in here in the stats, 135 yards now, and not taking away from Crowell's ability and all that, but the kid Cyrus did the dirty work, the tough work. Crowell came in the first quarter and ran the ball a couple of times, and we didn't see him no more until the score was 35 to something. Then they put Crowell back in the game. But the kid Michael Cyrus is a little toughie. He ran that thing 19 times. You know, Crowell ran it 14 times. You know, Crowell got great speed and all those things, but you know, he's a good back.
Coach, talk about what you're telling your team at this point with the transition, obviously, and your guys are working very hard. You and your staff working hard. The long trip to Kansas City and then Montgomery. Just talk about what these last 2 or 3 weeks have been for you and your staff.
Well, we've been trying to drive home to them. You know, we got to keep working hard because our fate is still in front of us, believe it or not. You know, and we just keep preaching it to them. You know, our destiny is in our hands, even with the 2 losses in the conference. But you know, it's tough when you haven't had a victory. You know, if we could have just snuck a victory in, maybe outside one of those non-conference games, they still would have tasted victory. But see, my guys haven't tasted victory yet. So obviously, us as coaches, we have to work twice as hard to keep them motivated and working through the little mistakes and things that they made so they don't make them again. So, you know, we just let them know every day that we still have a chance. You keep the faith, keep working hard, and good things happen for you.
Coach, your running game fared well over the start of the season, but took a pretty big blow this past weekend. What were some of the problems that Alabama State's defensive front was presenting to make it so hard for you guys to run the ball?
Well, they was tough up front, man. They got grown men. You know, they had grown men up front. The kid, 96, Billups, you know, and the 2 defensive ends, 99, what's 99? You know, I know the numbers better than I can do their names because they're not my guys, okay? But the boy 99, Mosley, and 96, 53, Jones, you know, those guys are good players, man. 95, 96, they good players, you know. Boy, linebacker, Baker, now I can tell you about them because I coached the running backs previously, and I still coach them, okay? But you know, I do the research on the linebackers, and the kid Baker, Leland Baker, he's a player. You know, the kid Courtney Barry, he's a player. You know, it's just like I alluded to our stats, defensive stats in my press conference this morning. See, in my defensive stats, you got DBs at the top leading the tackles. In Alabama State's defensive stats, you got linebackers and linemen at the top. You got you got a DB you got a DB that shows up at number 5, you know, and he only had 3 solo tackles, but they're getting the work from the people that's supposed to work. The foundation is the D-line, and they got 3 of them up, you know, in the top 10 of them, well, in the top 5 that's leading in tackles, and of course they got Baker, who's in there, who's leading tackles. So, you know, when you got a good defense, your DBs don't make a whole lot of tackles.